Welcome everybody, something a little bit different here. I am on the Fantasy Football website, as you can see, and I'm going to do my team. It gives you this kind of random automated team at first, so I've cancelled all the players. And I thought I'd just go through and just try and build a team just live and see how bad my team can be. If you've not joined the Liga de Oddalers League yet, you can do that. It's commencing the second season. There's prizes. I'm going to try and do more prizes per month this time. It's just a bit hard to keep track of when I'm working on features and stuff, but I'll try my best this year. And it didn't help that last season I kind of just fell away spectacularly. So yeah, a few bad weeks, and I forgot to do my team, and you know how it is. So let's start with what I think most people will do, which is find Erling Haaland and just put him in there straight away. Now, some people might be thinking is it Haaland or Nunes? It's Haaland for me. There's no question. Nunes looks an okay player, but I don't think he's as proven as Haaland at all. Haaland's 11.5. It's pretty expensive, but not as expensive as Salah. I think Salah is 13 million. And the next player I'm going to put in is 12 million. So, you know, I'm working up quite a bit of a fee already here. So we've got De Bruyne, we've got Haaland, and then this right back position is going to be Trent. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. I've made this mistake previously where you try and avoid Salah, you try and avoid the players, or you try to avoid Suarez back in the day, and it just didn't work. You tried to avoid Aguero, you tried to find somebody else to be your differentiator. Your differentiators, I think, have got to be outside of the key players, because if you don't have the key players, they're key players for a reason. You know, like Suarez used to just bag 4 or something most weeks. Aguero getting 5 against Newcastle when people had him as captain. Rafinha, he's put him in automatically. He's not a player anymore, is he? So this is where it gets interesting, I think, outside of your kind of 3 or 4 players. One person that I've liked the look of this season is in pre-season is Arsenal. And a couple of players have caught my eye in the pre-season games. Jesus isn't one, but I think he'll do really well. Yeah, it was Martinelli, who I'm seeing is a midfielder, which is good, and he's 6 million, which is good, and Odegaard as well. I think at the start of the season, those two will be playing, because they've been playing pretty much in every pre-season game and playing really well. Martinelli's getting into some dangerous positions. And I think Arsenal will have a good season. I think they've got it in them. You know, it's the next step for Arteta now. Another full season. He's just building something, isn't he? And it takes time. Who have they got in defence, Arsenal? I don't think I trust them defensively just yet. Although Ramsdale, you can see there, 135 points last season. I think if you go into keepers, it ranks them by that. So most of these will be for clean sheets. Although some of them, maybe Fabianski is for the number of saves made, Ramsdale for the number of saves, De Gea definitely for the number of saves, because clean sheets were not that common last year for Manchester United. Schmeichel has left, still pretty surprised by that. It's going to be strange not to see him in the Premier League. He was a fantastic keeper, fantastic servant for Leicester. Premier League winner, of course, FA Cup winner as well. Pope is an interesting one. He's obviously going to be the number 1 for Newcastle, who towards the end of last season did pick up a few clean sheets. So I think Pope might be my number 1 keeper. 5 million. The good thing about keepers on fantasy football is that they're all relatively cheap. And then you can just go and get one for 4 million as well, maybe even less than 4 million. So I've got 51 million remaining so far, and one of the players that I want to put in is actually was already automatically put in here on the left side, and that's Perisic. I'm going to restore Perisic because I think that's a really useful signing for Conte. I think he'll play quite a bit. He is 35, I think, so you know he's not exactly young, but he's been signed for a reason. Conte's gone and bought him to play. That left side was a bit of an issue. Sessegnon played a lot there towards the end of last season. Did quite well, but he's still learning the ropes. And I think Conte likes to play Ben Davies as the left-sided centre-back. Again, I'm basing this off what happened towards the end of last season, and Perisic has played, I think, a couple of games in pre-season. He looked okay against Rangers, and that's reminded me now actually about Tottenham in general. And looking at this team, it's missing one of those front three for Tottenham. Now I think this is a problem that a few people will have, and it's who do you pick? Because you've got Son and Kane, but then you've also got Kulusevski and Richarlison. And I think Son and Kane are probably the mainstays, and then that third spot is up for grabs between Kulusevski and Richarlison. And it's a tricky one. I struggle to see a system where they all play, all four of them at the same time, especially in Conte's system. So I would probably go. Richarlison is he suspended? Yes, he is. He's suspended because of something to do with the pitch or something, isn't he? Yeah. So he's suspended for one game. When he threw the flare? I'm not sure. Kane's 11.5, which is the same as Haaland. Basuma might be a good signing. 66 last year. Son is more expensive than Kane. That's interesting. Kane looks in good shape this year, though, doesn't he? I'll put Kane in, and I've got a feeling I'm just going to run out of money pretty quickly going this way. Kane, Haaland, De Bruyne. 34 million. Because I'm doing this off the top of my head, I'm going to forget some players and teams. Now, last year, Wolves, under Bruno Lage, they were very good defensively. And they have added Collins from Burnley, who's a good defender. Whether he'll go straight into the team or not, I'm not sure. I like this guy, actually, Ait Nouri. He was the left back, wasn't he? Quite a silky player, gets forward. I'm going to put him in there because I think he can potentially add to the clean sheets, because I think Wolves will continue to get clean sheets. They're quite solid, very well set up, very well drilled. And then, him going forward and supplying. Who have they got up top this year? Just him. They've got Gibbs White in there. That might be an interesting player to have. 5.5. It's probably worth adding him to the squad. Very exciting young player. Neves is still there. Hwang is there. He got a few goals, didn't he? More towards the start of last season. He started very well, then got an injury. I think they need a striker, don't they, Wolves? It looks like it anyway. Let's get Gibbs White in. Really exciting player. And he can just be around the squad. And maybe he'll come on as a sub, or when Kane gets his injury, then he can be there. So we've got 24 million left for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. So some of our bench players are going to be pretty low in terms of price, I think. Let's just get the keeper done. So we'll try and find a keeper that is low costing and will also maybe play a little bit. Actually, Keller might play in the first game. Alisson is injured at the moment. He's not going to play in the Community Shield. But I think I saw that Adrian is actually going to play. So maybe Keller will play in the other game. I'm not too sure. But your second choice keeper, unlikely to play anyway. Let's go the former Tottenham man who is now at Fulham, Gazzaniga. And I feel like I'm missing out on some pretty good players here. So let's look at Chelsea. How much is Reece James? 6 million. I think Ben Chilwell is due a very good season if he can stay fit. He was fantastic at the start of last season, scoring goals. And as soon as Chilwell got injured, Chelsea their form just fell off a cliff. And Reece James was out shortly after at the same time. So that's a good 4 at the back, I think. Perisic, Chilwell, Nouri and Trent. Can potentially look at another one. Might not be too many clean sheets, but I'm going more for assists and just general bonus points and stuff, attacking wise. And everyone plays fantasy different. That's what I like about it. Some people will go for just pure strikers, to be honest, or just pure heavy hitters. Other people will go for defenders that they know are going to get get clean sheets, or teams that get clean sheets, because then you even get the points for your midfielders as well, don't you? Chelsea, yeah, I mean, Chilwell I'm picking from Chelsea because I just have faith in him and Reece James as individuals. Chelsea as a team, I'm not sure how they're going to be this season at all, to be honest. I think if Chilwell's firing and Sterling's firing and Mount is, I think they'll have a lot of joy down that left-hand side. But I said it on a previous video on YouTube, you need a striker. You can't win a title without a number 9. And they don't have one at the minute. They don't have somebody that's going to get them 30 goals like these two people here, Haaland and Kane. I've got no Liverpool players going forward. I've got 14 million left for 3 spots. I mean, is it even possible that? Let's have a look at the strikers. And it's going to have to be a kind of striker from a bit lower down the table. Maybe one of the teams that's just come up. How much is Mitrovic? Is he going to do it this time in the Premier League? I think he'll play. So, I mean, if he's playing, he's got a chance, right? Who are they playing first? Playing Liverpool at home. Maybe not. And then I've got 8 million for 2 spots. So it's this is where it gets tricky. This is where you start to readjust. This is where you maybe swap Odegaard for somebody else, for a Southampton midfielder or something, which is a good thing to think about, because I mean Ward-Prowse is the same price as Odegaard, so I wouldn't be able to move any money around doing that, but it might be a better option. Leeds have made a few good signings. Harrison's always a pretty good option. Yeah, 117 points last year. Bamford, I'm not sure on his fitness, but the season before last, he was pretty good in fantasy football. 7.5. 7.5. He's more expensive than Mitrovic, who scored 42 goals last year. That's a bit crazy. I mean, maybe no. What are they doing? Bamford should be a bit lower than that, given his injury record and how much he didn't play last year. So I guess this is kind of the team, isn't it? I'm going to continue looking for another forward. Mitrovic, I do think he'll score goals this year. Maybe not that first spell. What about Calvert-Lewin? Probably going to be about 8, isn't he? Yeah. These are expensive, these players. Dele Alli, I saw him miss a sitter the other day. He's not going in. McNeil's signed though, hasn't he? Is he on there yet? I don't think they've added him. But McNeil, when he gets added, could be an interesting choice. I don't think I would ever put an Everton defender in my team, just given how they played. Gross is a good player to have. I think he might actually get in there. McAllister, was impressed with him. Got some nice midfielders have Brighton, and of course Bissouma has gone, hasn't he? He's gone to Tottenham. Not much up top. Yeah, it's between these 3. I'm going to pick one of these. I like Brighton. They really keep the ball well, but I think they've got a tricky game first, haven't they? They've got Man United away. I think you can get a Man United, and I think Brighton won't shy away from that game. They'll have confidence. They always play with confidence. I'm going to go for McAllister. He plays as a number 10 sometimes. He plays just behind the striker, and I think he will continue in that position. So now we've got 9 million for 2 players. So this defender, this defence slot, I'm just going to go for a cheap defender, the cheapest possible. Vestergaard might get some minutes just in case he does actually come on. He's very slow, isn't he, Vestergaard? And that leaves us 5 million for a striker, unless we swap out Kane and maybe put Callum Wilson in, and you can then have 2 strikers for, sort of, say, 8 million. This is where you start tinkering and stuff. So this won't be my final team, but I just thought it'd be interesting to do this live. Let's look at the forwards. Let's see if there's any for 5 million that scored quite highly last year. This is another way to do it. 5.5 Brozier. That's an interesting one. I wonder where he'll go. I'd like to see him get a chance at Chelsea, to be honest. 5.5 million, that's a little bit annoying. Could sell Gibbs White for a 5 and then get in Brozier. Just get him in, hoping that, he could move to France. He could move on loan to France or anything, couldn't he? So it wouldn't be the smartest move, but I'm just trying to do it before he moves and his price potentially goes up. Nketiah 7. That's a price increase, isn't it? I really like Brozier, and I think if he does move somewhere, then he'll get goals if he's the main man. I think he'll get goals if he plays at Chelsea. I don't think he's got a chance yet. So I need 5 million though, don't I? I need 5 million to get Brozier in. So we're going to sell Gibbs White. We're going to get Brozier. And then we have 5 million for a midfielder. Let's look at the top scoring midfielders for last season. And 5.5. I'll tell you what, we're just gonna get a midfield. Declan Rice. There's some good midfielders here actually. Basuma, I don't know how much he's going to play. Bentancur and Højbjerg are probably the starting two for them, aren't they? Xhaka, Allen, yeah, these are kind of the defensive midfielders. Seem to be 5 million. Shrewsbury Hall, he came on loan at Blackpool. He's a really good player. He's a really good technical player with a great eye for a pass as well. So let's save the team, make transfers, confirm transfers. All the transfers are free, aren't they, before the season starts? So I'll probably change this again. Now let's actually build the team. Vestergaard, what are you doing in there? You should not be in there. Brozier could be my sub actually, yeah. This is tricky already. This is tricky. Shrewsbury Hall off. Brozier for Vestergaard. And depending on the games and depending on where Brozier ends up, I will swap it around. But this, no, I didn't see that. Glad I caught that. So we've got Pope in goal. Perisic, right back. He'll be left back. Alexander-Arnold, centre back. He'll be right back. Chilwell, centre back. He'll be left back. Nori, left back. De Bruyne, Odegaard, McAllister, Martinelli, Haaland, and Kane. Like I said at the start of the video, you can't not have Haaland or Salah or whoever it is. You can't try and, I don't know, maybe you can try and build a team of just average players that just consistently get points, because Haaland and Salah and De Bruyne, they're just too good at football. Haaland will get like 30 goals this season. I don't really doubt that. He's going to score 15 tap-ins at least. And I've tried so many times with fantasy to just not have Salah because everybody has him. And it just hasn't worked at all, because they have Salah and he went through that purple patch where he scored in every game for 4 or 5 games, and he scored a hat-trick against Watford, and he was just unbelievable against City in that game. Yeah, and it's not worth trying to leave him out, or the equivalent, which this season is probably going to be Haaland. De Bruyne looks really sharp in pre-season. He's looked really good. So this is my fantasy football team. Feel free to share yours, and feel free to join the Odd Alerts League. If you look on Twitter, I will pin the code as the pinned tweet, and it gets underway next week. So yeah, very exciting stuff, and good luck if you join the league.